Today on All Things 80s, the outrageous prices of vintage Star Wars VHS tapes. Welcome back to All Things 80s, and as you may know, I recently completed my vintage Star Wars figure collection, and I was intrigued to see how much some of these figures are now selling for. So I jumped onto eBay, and in order to keep the search as wide as possible, I just typed in vintage Star Wars and filtered the results highest price to lowest price. And to my absolute amazement, the figures were nowhere near the most expensive items under the heading of vintage Star Wars. Believe it or not, VHS videotapes were by far the most expensive, and some of the prices are quite eye-watering. So let's go ahead and jump in, and I'll show you what it was I found, and still cannot believe that these are the prices being asked for old VHS tapes. So I have the eBay page called up, and obviously the search this time I put in Star Wars VHS. And at the top of the list, it's a sealed VHS Empire Strikes Back tape, which has actually been graded, believe it or not. And the asking price is $275,000. Now, I get this comment all the time where people say, yes, the asking price doesn't mean it's worth that. I'm not suggesting it's worth that. What I am saying is, if you want this exact VHS cassette, as we're looking at right now, you will have to pay $275,000. So, with that out the way, the next one is an absolute bargain. Only $24,000 for a set of all three movies which have been sealed, and these are the 10-year anniversary, so these obviously are from 1987. Now, my question is, I'm assuming, given the dates of these, that these are the unaltered theatrical release versions. So I can understand the desire to get hold of these. However, with them being sealed, I'm assuming that whoever buys these wants to keep them sealed. Now, you all know me. If I got hold of these, it would be very, very difficult for me to resist the urge to take that plastic wrapper off and see what's all inside. But these were also the time where VHS tapes just came in a cardboard sleeve, so I'm guessing there's no interesting documentation inside. This next listing is rather odd. It's from 1995, and it's an auction, and the opening bid, which has not been made yet, is $19,950, and I think we can safely say this will not be selling. Next up, it's another original pressing of Return of the Jedi for $15,000. And the last one we'll look at is another 3-pack, so it's all three movies from 1987 for just under $14,000. And as I said earlier, yes, these are the asking prices. It doesn't mean they're worth that or will sell for that, but let's go ahead and check out the listings that have been sold. So, top of the list straight away, it's another of these 3-packs, the red label version. So these are from the early 80s, and this one actually sold for just under $20,000, quite remarkable. Now next up, it's the same set, and a best offer was accepted, so we can assume it's somewhere in the sort of 17,000 range perhaps. This time it's the 10-year anniversary set that we looked at earlier. This one, again, was a best offer accepted, so circa 17 grand. And lastly, we'll look at this one, which was Star Wars from 1984, and that sold in the region of, I'm imagining, like $14,000. Now, to me, these prices are absolutely insane for something that I'm assuming is just going to sit on a shelf, at least with graded figures, especially the carded figures. They do look good on display, there's no question about that. However, these VHS tapes, they don't necessarily represent a really good display piece. And I never knew there was such a thing as grading VHS tapes. That's quite mind-blowing to think that people would actually go to the effort of paying to get a VHS tape graded, but to each their own. I'm not here to pass judgment. But I was absolutely amazed to see these prices. I had wrongly assumed that when you typed in vintage Star Wars, the top prices were going to be for action figures, but that's not the case. So these VHS tapes are clearly in demand. Not something I would ever consider. Like I said, it would be very difficult for me to resist the urge to remove that plastic and just see what's all inside. Plus, if I did get hold of these, I would have to find a VHS video player because I want to see the movies as they were back in the day. So anyway, hope you found that interesting, maybe opened a few eyes. So thank you all for watching. Special thanks goes out to the patrons. Please like, please subscribe, and as always, stay tuned for more videos from All Things 80s.